Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, especially to our SPM candidates year 2020. How are you today? I hope you're doing great. Okay, time flies. Without realizing, we have reached the final series of our webinar episodes focusing on SPM Paper 1 and Paper 2. My name is Mr. Jian Yong. I'm from SMK Sri Kukup, Pontian, Johor. And together with me, we have Cikgu Haslina. Hi, Cikgu Haslina.
Hello, Mr. Chu. Okay, I'm teacher Haslina from SMK Taman University, and it's good to be back here. So we are going to share a lot of things and make sure you have your pen and your notebook ready. Okay, back to you, Mr. Chu.
Thank you very much, Cikgu Haslina. Okay, so without further ado, let's start. Today, the focus of our series is on Paper 2, SPM Paper 2, Section D, which will be focusing on poem and novel. Okay, so I will be doing the poem part, and later on, Cikgu Haslina will bring you through the novel part. Okay, are you ready to start? If yes, let's start off. Okay, so just a quick recap. You have learned 4 poems in the SPM literature component. 2 you have learned in Form 4, and 2 you have also learned in Form 5. What are those poems? Can you still remember? Yes, these are the poems. Okay, so in Form 4, you have learned The Living Photograph by Jackie K, as well as The Charge of the Light Brigade. And in Form 5, you have learned A Poison Tree and also What Has Happened to Lulu. Let's have a quick recap. In SPM 2016, What Has Happened to Lulu has come out. In SPM 2017, A Poison Tree is being assessed. In SPM 2018, The Charge of the Light Brigade. And last year, in the SPM 2019, The Living Photograph has come out. So now the main question is, what is going to come out in your SPM this year, SPM 2020? My answer is, every poem has a possibility. So in the end of the day, you still have to read all the poems and make sure you understand all the poems really well. So are you ready to continue? If yes, let's move on. Okay, before we start, I'm going to share with you some tips for answering questions related to poem. In your SPM Paper 2, poem will be your question 32. And in this question, there are usually 4 questions, namely question A, question B, question C, and also question D. 1 marks will be given to question 32A, 1 marks for question 32B, 1 marks for question 32C, and usually the last question, question 32D, will be 2 marks. So total for poem will be 5 marks. When you answer questions related to poem, remember, you have to always read the questions carefully and highlight or circle the keywords or phrases being mentioned. For example, the number of stanza. Okay, usually they will give you a clue on where to find the answers. For example, stanza number 1, 2, 3, etc. And also, you need to remember to highlight and circle the keywords. For example, the WH questions. For example, what, where, who, how, why, etc. So these are the keywords that you have to take note every time when you answer questions related to poem. Don't worry, later on I'll show you more examples. And the second tip is you have to remember, for questions related to poem, you do not, I repeat, you do not have to answer the questions in complete sentences, just straight to the point. Once you answer the question, you'll get the mark. So are you clear so far? Any questions? If you have any questions, don't forget to comment in the comment section. And me and Cikgu Haslina, both of us will try our best to answer all your questions. Okay, so before we start looking at the 4 poems, let's take a look at the types of questions that will be tested in the SPM examination, specifically for poem. The first type of question is what we call the direct questions. in which answers can be found in the poem. Okay, soalan yang direct, di mana jawapan boleh terus dijumpa di dalam poem. The second type of question are questions asking for a word, phrase, or line, in which, in this type of question, you have to quote a word, a phrase, or a line from the poem as the answers. The third type of question is what we call questions that require your reasoning or interpretation. Okay, you have to read the poem, you have to understand the poem, you have to interpret, tafsir poem itu, and you have to give logical answers based on your interpretation. And the very last type of question is what we call questions asking for your personal response or opinion. In this type of question, remember, boys and girls, you need to give your own views, your own opinions as the answers based on the content of the poem. Any questions so far? If not, let's move on. The first type of question is what we call direct questions. Answers can be found in the poem. Okay, for this type of question, let's look at the Charge of the Light Brigade. Let's look at this poem, and this is the poem. Okay. Yes. Okay. A sample of direct question is what we call like this. Okay. In stanza 1, how many British soldiers rode into the Valley of Death? So this is an example of what we call direct question. Remember, there are steps that you have to follow when you answer questions for poem. The first step, which stanza? Stanza 1. So this you have to highlight. Stanza 1 of the poem is this first stanza. Okay, I've taken the first stanza out. So the one in the box is actually the first stanza. So how many? The second step is you have to highlight the WH question. How many? So how many here means berapa or bilangan. So berapa British soldiers yang telah rode into the Valley of Death? So from here, in the first stanza, can you find the answer? The answer is definitely a number, yes or no? So the number that you can find here is 600. So the answer is how many British soldiers rode into the Valley of Death? The answer is 600. So you just give straight away 600 like this, you will get 1 mark. Okay, a very good Jashin. Okay, 600. Sometimes you like to write in numbers, 600 like this. You will also get 1 mark for that. Okay. Sometimes you tend to write differently. For example, you like to write in this way, 600. Okay, number 6 and 100 is also correct. But please be very careful, boys and girls. Is this answer correct? Sometimes you put 600 and then you copy another word 100 there. So 600, 100 means 60,000. 60,000. Banyaknya. So is that the answer? No. So if you give answers like this, you will get 0. And sometimes, this is the next answer. Wrote the 600. Do you think you will get correct for this answer? Wrote the 600. The answer is no. Why? Because the question is asking for number. Okay? So the number is 600. When you copy the whole line, wrote the 600, it doesn't really answer the question, does it? No. So please remember, for this type of direct question, the note here is you have to give direct answers. Please do not, I repeat, do not just copy the whole line where the answer is located. Even though 600, the answer is there, but when you put the whole line, it doesn't really answer the question, you will get 0. Okay? So this is an example of what we call direct question. Any questions so far? Okay, if not, let's move on. The second type of question is what we call questions asking for a word, phrase, or line. Okay, for this type of question, let's look at The Living Photograph by Jackie K. Okay, so this is the poem. I'm sure you are very familiar with it. So, a sample question will be something like this. In stanza 1, which word refers to the grandmother's head? So the same process you have to follow. The first thing you have to highlight stanza 1. So stanza 1 of The Living Photograph is this. This is the first stanza. Okay? Now you have to highlight the next keyword. What is the next keyword here? Which word What is a word? Word means satu saja perkataan. Satu saja perkataan. Okay, so bear in mind, refers to the grandmother's hair. So now we are looking for one word in the first stanza that has the same meaning as grandmother's hair. So what is the answer? Of course, the answer is ban. Okay, some of you may ask, Cikgu, ban itu bukan coconut ban kaya ban ke? Yes, there are more than one meaning for the word ban. Okay, coconut ban, kaya ban is one meaning. Another meaning means sanggol. Okay, your grandmother's ban, the sanggol. So the answer here is ban. Very good, Xuan. Okay, so when you put ban, you will get 1 mark. What if you give answers like this? Grey ban. How many words are there? There are 2 words. So do you think you will still get it correct? Because the question asks for 1 word only. So when you give 2 words, it doesn't really answer the question. Okay, so this is a 0. So please be careful. When you put grey ban, okay, nor Ilianas, okay, when you put grey ban, you may get 0 because the question is asking only for a word, satu perkataan. So you need to be extremely careful. And sometimes you tend to spell wrongly. Sir, what if I spell bum? Cikgu, saya tertulis N jadi M. Saya ter. So I'm so sorry to say that bila you tertulis ban jadi bum, you will get 0. Why? Because of the spelling, and it changes the meaning. Because bum means another thing. There's a different meaning for the word bum. So when you give bum as the question, you will get 0. So please be very careful, boys and girls. Remember that. So the note for this type of question, when the question asks for a word, remember to give only 1 word from the poem. Anything more than 1 word is a big fat 0. Are you clear so far, boys and girls? Any questions? If not, yeah, you can screenshot this slide if you want. Okay? Yes. If you are ready, if you have screenshot, let's move on. What if you have a question like this? In stanza 1, which phrase refers to the grandmother's hair? It's almost similar to the first question, but now the question is not asking for a word. It is asking for a phrase. You still have to go through the same process. Stanza 1, so you find your answer from the first stanza. Phrase here you have to highlight. Phrase means frasa. Cikgu, apa itu frasa? Frasa terdiri daripada beberapa perkataan. Sekumpulan perkataan yang dikumpulkan sama-sama dinamakan sebagai frasa. So a phrase can be 2 words, 3 words, or even 4 words. Okay? So which phrase here refers to the grandmother's hair? The same thing. So just now we know that ban refers to grandmother's hair, but the question asks for phrase. So can you still give ban as the answer? No, because a phrase must be more than a word. So you have to give the phrase grey ban. Okay, so when you give grey ban, you will get 1 mark. If you give only 1 word, ban, you will get 0. Okay, because the question is asking for a phrase, not a word. Dia nak frasa, bukan perkataan. Sometimes candidates, they tend to copy more than what is required. For example, like this, flat shoes, comma, grey ban. Do you think this will be correct? You will get 1 mark for this. The answer is no. Why? Because the first part of your answer, flat shoes. Flat shoes itu kasut. It doesn't really explain the grandmother's hair, yes or no? So the first part is wrong. Even though the second part is correct, the whole thing is still wrong. So boys and girls, please remember that. Give what is required only, and you'll be safe. So for questions like this, remember, you have to give more than a word. If the question asks for a phrase, you give more than a word. Can be 2, 3, or 4 words from the poem, and usually it is not the whole line. Dia bukan satu line yang lengkap. Okay, sometimes it can be, but usually not. Okay, so you can screenshot this slide if you want. Okay, done. Let's move on. Okay, so what if they ask question like this? In stanza 2, which line tells us that the grandmother has passed away. So similarly, you have to follow the process. Which stanza? Stanza 2. So you have to find your answer from this stanza. Which line? What is line? Line means baris. Okay, satu baris. So which line tells us that the grandmother has passed away? So mana satu baris yang bagi tahu kita nenek itu telah meninggal dunia? So there are 6 lines here. Which line tells us that the grandmother has passed away? So of course, the answer is she went to the awful place grandmothers go. Yes or no? Yeah. So if they ask for a line, my suggestion is you have to copy the whole line. She went to the awful place grandmothers go. So when you copy the whole line, you get 1 mark. You have to copy from the first word until the last word. That is very important. Sometimes you will ask me, sir, is it okay if I give only the line number? For example, like this, line 12 or stanza 2, line 5. Is it okay? Yes, it's not wrong. You can give the line number provided the line number is correct. Okay, but if you ask me personally, my suggestion is why not you just copy the whole line? Why? Because there is a risk when you put the line number. Sometimes accidents can happen. Sometimes your mouth moves faster than your finger. Sometimes your finger moves faster than your mouth. So kadang-kadang you akan salah kira. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know the answer is this one, but you tersalah kira the line number, so you may get it wrong at the end. So it's not worth it. Don't take the risk. It's better for you to copy the whole line exactly from the poem. Okay? And remember when they ask for a line, if you give answers like this, went to the awful place, that's all. Do you think you can get this correct? The answer is no, because went to the awful place, that is not the whole line. So remember the rule, when you say copy the whole line, you have to copy from the first word until the last word of the line. So you can screenshot this if you want. Any questions so far? If you do not have any questions, let's proceed. Let's go to the third type of questions. Okay, this is the third type of questions, questions which require your reasoning or interpretation. So for this question, you need to give logical answers based on your understanding of the poem. Okay, so you have to read, you have to understand, give your logical answers. As long as they are logical, all your answers will be accepted. So usually questions like this, they will start off with phrase like this. What do you think? Why do you think that? Blah, 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 blah. Something about the poem. Okay, so for this type of question, we are going to use what has happened to Lulu. So this is the poem that you have read. I'm very sure you are very familiar with this poem, what has happened to Lulu. Okay, so an example of this type of question will be like this. Okay, for example, I woke to voices late last night, stanza 4, line 1. Based on the line above, whose voices do you think are heard? So same process, stanza 4, line 1. So you have to look at stanza 4 in your poem. I woke to voices late last night. I heard an engine roar. Why do you tell me the things I heard were a dream and nothing more? So the next thing you have to check is, do you think? So when they ask you, do you think that? So it's up to you, up to your own interpretation. As long as it's logical, you get it right. Okay, so whose voices? This is the WH question here. Whose voices? What are voices? Voices means suara-suara. Voices, it is in plural form. So how many voices must there be? At least 2. Yes or no? If I want only one voice, I will ask whose voice. If I say whose voices, that means suara-suara, lebih daripada satu. So for this question, you have to remember 2 things. The first thing, suara means voice only comes from a human. Hanya manusia saja boleh ada voice. Engine tak boleh ada voice. Okay, so that is number 1. Number 2, you have to always remember that you must give more than one voice. Clear? So if you give only one voice, you will get it wrong because the question asks for whose voices. Okay, clear? So up to your interpretation. Some you will say, oh, the voices belong to Lulu and her mother. Do you get it right? Yes, you will get it right. Some they will say, oh, I don't think it's the mother. I think it's the boyfriend. Okay. So if you say Lulu and her boyfriend, yes, you will get it right. Some will say, oh, I don't think that Lulu left home with the boyfriend. I think that she was being kidnapped. So can you accept that? Yes, why not? So if you want to say Lulu and the kidnapper, those voices, yes, you can still get it right. Okay. But when you put only Lulu, it's wrong because suara must have at least two. If you say car engine, it's wrong. Why? Because voice must come from a human. It's wrong. Okay, what about this one? Lulu and the persona. Do you think that you will get it right? Lulu and the persona. The answer is wrong. Why? Because here, the persona, who is the persona in this poem? The persona is actually Lulu's sibling, adik dia, who hears the voices. So kalau dia yang dengar, tak mungkin dia dengar suara dia sendiri. Confirm the voices must belong to someone else, yes or no? So you cannot say that Lulu and the persona is wrong because the persona is the one hearing the voices. So it's impossible that the voice belongs to the persona. Clear? So again, yeah, well done, Bara. Lulu and her mama. Yes, okay. Mama means mother. Okay. Lulu and her sibling. It's wrong too because the sibling here is the persona. Okay. So you can screenshot this if you want to. Any questions so far? Okay. If no, let's move on. I'll give you another sample of questions which require your own reasoning. So, like this, in stanza 3, why do you think the persona's mother crumpled the note on the fire? So the keyword here, stanza 3, you have to refer to the third stanza. So this is the third stanza. Why do you think? So, as long as the answer is logical, it's accepted. The persona's mother crumpled the note on the fire. Kenapa you rasa mak dia crumple? What's the meaning of crumple? Merenyukkan. Renyukkan note itu. Buang atas fire. Kenapa? Okay? So, for this type of question, any logical answer can be accepted. If you put something like this, she was sad and frustrated. Dia sedih dan frust when she read the note because Lulu ran away from home. Dia sedih. That's why dia crumple. Okay? You will get it correct because it's logical. Some will say, no, I think mom was angry. She was angry with what was written in the note. Correct or not? Maybe Lulu was being kidnapped. Okay? And the mom was angry. Kenapa? Kenapa you nak culik anak saya? Kenapa? So she was angry and she crumpled the note. So this is logical too. This is also accepted. The last one. She did not want the persona to know about Lulu's disappearance. Mak tak nak persona adik Lulu itu tahu bahawa Lulu telah hilang. Dia tak nak adik itu sedih. So can this be accepted? Yes. So as long as your answers are logical, they can be accepted. So for this type of question, remember, give any logical answers, but please remember, you must relate to the context of the poem. Either Lulu ran away from home or Lulu was being kidnapped. Clear? So you can screenshot this if you want to. Any questions so far? She does not want, yes, Xuan, she does not want the persona to see the note. Yeah, correct? Same like the third one, yes or no? Because she was angry on her daughter, Kisatini. Yes, why not? She was angry with the daughter. The daughter ran away. Ran away pun tak bagi tahu. Saya marah. Okay, so dia renyuk. Okay, she cannot accept that Lulu had run away. Yeah. She cannot accept. But Chong Yi Ting, I think you need to be clearer with your answer because cannot accept and how does it link to crumple? Okay, so it must involve a feeling, perasaan itu. For example, sad, frustrated, upset, angry. Okay, so better for you to include a feeling. Okay, good. Well done, everyone, so far. Okay. The last type of question will be questions asking for your personal response or opinion. So for this question, you need to give your own views as answers based on the context of the poem. So for this, we are going to use the last poem, A Poison Tree. I'm very sure you have read this before. Okay, so a sample of question will be like this. What would you do if you had a misunderstanding with your friend? Explain why. So it's more to your own personal response. Okay? So you still have to highlight the key phrases. What would you do? Apa yang you akan buat if you had a misunderstanding with your friend? What is misunderstanding? Misunderstanding is perselisihan faham, salah faham. And don't forget the last part, you have to explain why. So there are two parts here. 1 mark given for the action, perbuatan, 1 mark given for the reason, sebab. And for questions like this, you have to remember, give your own views and support with suitable explanations. And don't forget, your reasons must support the action. Sebab yang anda beri kena mengukuhkan ataupun jelaskan perbuatan yang anda cakap di atas. Okay, I'll give you a few examples. Let's take a look at this. Action 1. Okay, let's determine whether this is right or wrong. Action 1. Say sorry to my friend. Saya salah faham dengan kawan saya. Saya cakap sorry, minta maaf dengan kawan saya. Is that an action? Is that what you will do? Yes, it's logical, right? So you will get 1. What is the reason? Say sorry to your friend. So that his anger will not grow. Saya cakap minta maaf supaya kemarahan dia tak akan membara. Supaya dia akan cool down. Betul? So this is an acceptable reason. So you'll get 1 mark for action, 1 mark for reason. Action number 2. Talk to my friend. Is that logical? Saya cakap dengan kawan saya bila ada salah faham. Cakap. Bagus. So this is accepted. Why do you need to talk to your friend? To find out about the misunderstanding and try to clear it. I nak tahu apa masalah salah faham itu. Saya nak cuba overcome it. Saya nak cuba selesaikan masalah itu. So does that sound logical? If yes, you will get full marks. Let's look at action 3. What will you do if you had a misunderstanding with your friend? Stay far away from my friend. Saya salah faham dengan dia, saya jauhkan diri daripada kawan saya. Does that sound logical? Yes, right. What is the reason given? I'm afraid I will hit him. Saya bila salah faham dengan kawan saya kena jauhkan diri daripada dia. Kerana saya risau, saya tak boleh tahan, nanti saya akan pukul dia. Does that sound logical? Yes. So for this kind of answers, you can still get marks, full marks. So as long as it is logical, you can get marks. So are you clear, boys and girls? You can screenshot this if you want. Okay, I'm going to show you examples of answers that we cannot accept. The same question, okay? You have to make sure reasons must not contradict. What's the meaning of contradict? Bercanggah. Anda kena pastikan sebab anda tidak bercanggah dengan perbuatan. Okay? And actions and reasons must be written clearly. Okay, we have a question here from Kisantini. I will leave from the place. What will you do to avoid fight with my friend? Yes, why not? You will leave the place to avoid fighting with a friend. So you will get full marks, Kisantini. Well done. Okay? So actions and reasons must be written clearly. Remember that. So I'll give you examples. Look at these examples. For example, action 1. I told my Raf. Saya bagi tahu tentang kemarahan saya. Saya deal with the anger. Raf here means anger, kemarahan. I told my Raf. Reason. So my Raf did grow. Actually, this candidate, I think he or she took it from the poem. Dia salin saja 2 baris. I told my Raf did 10. I told it not, my Raf did grow. Betul? Tapi, dia telah salah salin. Action dia is not going together with the reason. It contradicts. So this is very dangerous because when you told your Raf, definitely your Raf will not grow. When you did cakap dengan orang tentang kemarahan itu akan slow. Dia tak ada, dia tak akan membara lagi. So the reason here contradicts with the action. That's why for this answer, you will get 0, 0. Okay, let's look at action number 2. My friend's Raf grows. Is that an action? What will you do? My friend's Raf grow. Kemarahan kawan saya membara. Adakah itu satu tindakan? Is that an action? It is not right. So the action here is not clear. So when your action is not clear, straight away, you will get 0 because the action is not clear. So boys and girls, are you clear so far? So when you give answers. Any logical answers can be accepted, but please note, reasons must not contradict with actions, and actions and reasons must be written very clearly. Pastikan dia perbuatan, pastikan dia sebab. Then you will get full marks. I think that's all from me. That's the end of section D poem. Do you have any questions? If you do not have, I think it's time for us to welcome Cikgu Haslina. Over to you, Cikgu Haslina.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chu. All right, so let's we start with our section D, the novel question. Since Johor is using Captain Nobody, so I'm going to focus on Captain Nobody. And these are the things that I'm going to share with you. So today, I will talk about the allocation of marks for this section, okay, for this novel question. Then, I'm going to explain to you there are two types of questions. Next, I'm going to share with you some tips for you to remember in answering the question. And I will provide you an outline. Okay, so this is very important to plan our answer. So we need an outline. And we will try out few questions. So are you ready, boys, girls? Okay, so let's start. Let's talk about allocation of marks. So in the last question, the novel question, okay, altogether there are 15 marks. So this is the marking breakdown. Okay, so we are having content which carries 10 marks and language which carries 5 marks. So altogether is 15 marks. Okay, so what is content? Okay, for content, the examiner is looking for textual evidence and personal response. And for the language, we are looking at accuracy and organization. So what is content? Okay, remember the word textual evidence? So what does it mean? Textual evidence simply means we need to describe an event or few events. Okay, and that event has to be clear and specific. Okay, so what is personal response? Personal response simply means when you are asked to write your opinion or reason. And for this, you have to use your own words and make sure your opinion or your reason has to be relevant, related to the question. Got it? Okay, next. How about language? Okay, for the language, they're looking at accuracy. So what does it mean by accuracy? Okay, so accuracy simply means we want to look at your grammar, your vocabulary, and your spelling. Okay, and also they are looking for your organization. So what is organization? Okay, organization simply means whether you are using paragraphs, okay, whether you're using connectors, because if you are having paragraphing and coherent answer, means that you can score in the language part. Got it? Okay, next. Okay, by the way, if you're not sure what does it mean by the word coherent, it means each paragraph will be connected to each other with each other. So setiap perenggan ada kaitan. So when your answer has a connection, so the answer is good, right? Okay, let's move on to the types of question. Remember, I told you there are two types of question. Okay, the first type is what we call general question. Okay, and the second type is called specific question. So what is general question and what is specific question? Okay, general question means that you have to provide few events and few reasons, which means for each event you have to provide one reason or one opinion. Okay, how about specific question? For specific question, you need only to provide one event. I repeat, one event only. Okay, and of course, they will ask you to provide few reasons. Okay, so remember there are two types of question. Okay, next. So far, so good, right? Okay, I'm going to share you the tips to remember. All right, so please jot down this or you can screenshot. Okay, first one, Once you get the question paper, read and understand the question. Why? Because we need to know which type of question. Is it general or is it specific? And from the question, we can know the task requirement. What do they really want us to do, to write? Okay. Second one, what we need to do is outline the answer. This is very important to plan what you need to write. Okay, so you need to plan what you need to write for your introduction, for your content, and for your conclusion. Okay, next, you need to state clearly the character, theme, event, moral value, or lesson learned. So where does this go? This one will be in your introduction paragraph. So straight away answer the question. Okay, why? Because the examiner is looking for this. Okay, so make sure you have this in your introduction paragraph. Okay, next, you need also to support your answer with clear, specific, developed evidence. Okay, remember what is evidence? Evidence simply means event. Okay, where do you put this? In the content paragraph. Okay, so when we say evidence, we expect the student to write clear, specific, related evidence. Alright? Okay. And next, you need to provide personal response. Remember what is personal response? Yes, it's either for you to write opinion or reason using your own words. Okay, so are you ready for your screenshot time? Alright. Okay, now I have more to go here. Okay, what's next? Okay, once you write your answer, make sure that you need to write in paragraphs. Why? Because we want the answer to look organized. Remember, organization is part of the language marks. And next, you also are recommended to use connectors. Why? Because your answer will look coherent. So your paragraph will be connected to each other. Okay, so I give you a few examples here. Okay, the simplest one could be you can use sequence connector, like firstly, secondly, lastly. Or you can also use logical connectors. For example, like besides, in addition, moreover. I'm sure you know this, right? In Bahasa Melayu, we call it as penanda wacana, right? Okay. Next. And don't forget, we have to check our grammar and spelling once we finish our writing the answer. And make sure we have to be consistent with the tenses. So if you use present tense, make sure from the beginning until the end you use present tense. If you use past tense, make sure it is consistent. If you are not sure about subject-verb agreement, I suggest you use past tense because you don't have to worry about singular or plural subject that tally with singular or plural verb. Alright, got it? Okay, so if you need to screenshot, please do so. Alright, so once you know all the tips that you have to remember, okay, so I'm going to show you the outline. Alright, so basically we have three parts: introduction, content, and conclusion. Okay, remember we have two types of question. Okay, what happens if you need to answer a general question? General question means you have to provide at least two events, more than one event. So ideally, three events, right? Okay, so what you need to do, you need to have introduction. So introduction would be the first paragraph, followed by content. So each content, okay, we have different event. Okay, so we have event 1, event 2, and event 3. We have separate paragraph for each event. Why? Because we want to look the answer to look organized. Remember? Right. Okay. And the last paragraph would be conclusion. All right. Okay. So do you want to screenshot? Please do so. Okay. Because we have two types of question, we need two different outline. All right. Okay. Next. How about if the question is specific? Remember, specific means one event. So what you need to do is you have also introduction. followed by paragraph 2. So we only focus on the event because they are asking one event. So we just put one event. So we produce one event first. Okay. Then what's next? On paragraph 3, we produce the reasons. Okay. So you can put them all together in paragraph 3. But if you want to separate, it doesn't matter. Go ahead. Alright. And the last paragraph would be the conclusion part. Alright. Okay. Please screenshot if you wish to. Alright. Okay. So far, do you have any question? Okay, if you have any question, please write in the comment section. Okay, I will answer, right, while presenting the slides. Alright. Okay. Let's move on. Okay, so are you ready with the first question? So we are going to start with the first question taken from SPM 2015. So let's take a look at the question. Suggest one character in the novel you have read who you think is a good role model for teenagers. Briefly describe the character and give reasons for your choice with close reference to the text. Okay, next. Okay, remember, if you look at the question, they are asking only one character. Next, what kind of character? Character that can be a good role model for the teenagers. Next, when we talk about good role model, you always relate with good traits. Okay, what is trait? Trait is sifat. Okay, watak seseorang itu. So, for Captain Nobody, there are so many good traits, right? Okay, so we only choose 2 or 3. Okay, I prefer 3. Okay. And of course, it doesn't mention anything about one event, right? So we have to produce 3 events. That means 1 event, 1 trait. And don't forget, they also ask you to provide reasons. So you need to provide reasons. So ideally, you provide 3 reasons. So definitely, this is general question. So this is the layout. Okay, so you need to have separate event, okay, and different trait. Alright? Okay, let's take a look. How are we going to answer? Remember our outline just now? Okay, so let's start with the introduction part. So how to write introduction? Okay, so remember in the introduction part, the introduction must contain 3 things. First, name of the novel. Okay, I put the writer's name in bracket. That means if you do not want to write, it doesn't matter. Okay, it is not compulsory. But name of the novel is compulsory. Okay, next, make sure you answer to the question. This is the first paragraph where the examiner is looking whether you are able to respond to the question. And the third one, please provide the content points. Right? Okay, so this is the time for you to state clearly the character. Okay, the name of the character, the theme if the question is asking about the theme, the event if it is plot, or moral value, or the lesson learned. And don't worry, you can use the words or phrase from the question, and I will show you how. And make sure, remember to change the pronoun in the question. Because the question will use the word you, so you can't use the word you in your answer. Alright, so are you ready? Okay, so let's start with the question. Okay, teacher, how about the theme of family for Captain Nobody? Alright, okay, Kisantina, can we get back this question in the last part? Alright, remind me about this. Okay, we'll talk about it. Okay, so because I'm going to start with the introduction part, alright? Okay, so this is the introduction part. First sentence, memorize. The novel I have read is Captain Nobody by Dean Fishburne. Okay, so if you do not want to write the name of the writer, just omit Dean Fishburne as long as Captain Nobody is there. Alright. Next, second sentence will be answer the question. Okay, next. Okay. The third sentence is where you state your point 1, 2, 3 briefly. Why briefly? Because you are going to explain details in the following paragraph. Remember the content part? Okay, so this is briefly. Alright. Briefly maksudnya ringkas, right? Okay, next. With reference to the text, I will discuss the topic and, okay, please memorize this. Okay, these two simple sentences, memorize. Okay, why I put dot dot dot? You may use the words from the question. Why? Because we want to show the examiner we are responding to the question. We want to make sure that our question answer is related. Okay, so that is the most important thing. All right. Okay, so let's try out the introduction. Okay, so remember introduction, we have novel, the name of the novel, we have to answer the question, and we have to provide the content points. Okay, so I have provided this answer. This would be your introduction, right? Okay, let's take a look at the question first. This would be your paragraph one. The question, remember the question. Suggest one character in the novel you have read who you think is a good role model for teenagers. Briefly describe the character and give reasons for your choice with close reference to the text. Right. Okay. Now, you see the novel you have read? Okay. That's why you can see below the name of the novel is in green because you have responded. Okay, next. All right. You see one character? All right. This is to answer the question. So we have to choose one main character that can be a good role model. So definitely Newton Newman can be a good role model. So we have chosen Newton Newman. Okay, and make sure the spelling is correct. Okay, next. What do you have here? What kind of character? A good role model for teenagers. Okay, now if you look at the answer, the introduction part. Okay, I start with the word the novel I have read is. Remember, I asked to memorize. So the first sentence is memorized. Okay, second sentence, how to answer the question. Okay, by looking at the keywords here. So when they ask you one character, name the character. Okay, and you can use the words in the question. So you see, you can see the red one. I think. Okay, the word I think comes from the word you think. You see the word you think here? Okay, so I can't use the word you, right? I have to change into I, right? Okay, so I think Newton Newman is a good role model for teenagers. Okay, so I don't have to think so, I don't have to crack my head because all the words are there. So just follow. Alright. Okay. The third one is to state your content point because we want to state briefly, so we have to choose three traits. So I have chosen helpful, brave, and determined. So this is where I put the traits in the third sentence. So I use the simple sentence beginning with the word this is because. So this is because he is helpful, brave, and determined. Okay, remember the last sentence? Memorize. With reference to the text, I will discuss the topic, describe the character, and give reason for my choice. Okay, remember, you see, I have used present tense as my introduction part because this is current, this is present, and this is general statement. Okay, now move on. How to write the content? Okay, remember we have to choose related events. So for that, I have chosen three events. First, getting a drum from the dumpster. There are many traits: brave, determined, helpful, caring, but I choose helpful. Next, okay, so I guess you better screenshot this because I have prepared you the simplified version. So no excuse. Jangan cakap dengan cikgu, susahnya nak hafal. Okay, this one you have to memorize. Okay, I have come up with 5 sentences only, 5 ayat yang ringkas. Okay, so screenshot and try to memorize. Okay, memorize. Alright, so this is the first event. Next, I took the saving the ferret event. Okay, at the busy highway. Remember? Alright, so there are many traits. He is brave. Okay, he is determined to save the ferret. Okay, he's also shows that he's a caring person and responsible to take care of the ferret, right? But I choose brave, right? Okay, so I have prepared specially for you. This is the simplified version. So please screenshot now. Okay, please memorize this, okay? Because it's very helpful if you memorize this. Very simple one. Got it? All right. Next. Okay, the third event would be saving Rajaratnam from the water tower. Remember, Appleton water tower. Okay, there are many tricks. From that event, we know that he is brave, he is determined, and he is responsible. But I choose determined, right? So I have prepared the simplified version. Okay, you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Simple sentence, the simple version of the event. Right? So please screenshot. Okay, so far we have three events, right? Okay, so this will help us to answer the content. All right. So how to write the content? Okay, so we need to start with a statement. So our first sentence will be statement. Okay, so what is statement? We want to tell what is our main idea for that paragraph. Okay, next, we want to provide event. Remember evidence? So E is event. Okay. Don't worry. Okay. Because sometimes in SPM, sometimes they do not use the word event. So nanti you pun rasa, mana ni tak nampak pun event? Don't worry. We can also see the word incident. Incident also means event. Scene also means event. Part also means event. Situation also means event. So don't worry. They are the same, right? So next, we have to provide the opinion. Okay, so remember opinion can be opinion or reason. Alright, so remember it has to be related to the topic. Okay, and last one, to end our paragraph, we need to have a closing sentence. So for the closing, link that sentence. Okay, we need to have some connection. Okay, to show that we are actually responding to the question. So relate to the question. That means use the words from the question. All right. Okay. So this is paragraph 2. Remember, okay, because we have three events. So paragraph 2 will be event number 1, event number 2, and event number 3. Right? So we have three paragraphs. Okay, you need screenshot now. Okay, for the content. Okay, what you need to have for the content. All right. Okay, next. Okay, so what should we do for our content? Number 1. All right. Okay, remember this is paragraph 2. Statement, right? Okay, so I produce this sentence. Newt is a role model. Remember the word role model taken from the question. Because he is helpful. So this is my first trick. Watak sifat dia. Okay. Followed by an event. So where do I get the event? Okay, this has to be memorized. Remember, I showed you just now. Okay, so you have to take this and put it here. Sorry, and put it here. Okay, so this would be our next sentence. And don't forget to start with the phrase, this is shown when. Why? Because the examiner loves the word when. So when they see the word when, they know that you are giving the evidence. Okay, what's next? Opinion, right? Okay, so opinion, I can use the phrase like in my opinion. Okay, so I want to highlight the word helpful. So we can have like, we should help our friends because Cecile is friends, right? So we should help our friends just like me. Okay, you can use other sentence as long as you're talking about helping a friend. And the closing, remember we have to link. Okay, this is the time for you to memorize the phrase. This shows that. Okay, go back to the question. What is the question? We have chosen Newt, yeah? Newton Newman. So Newt is a good role model for teenagers. So I do not want to crack my head. I want to make it clear. So I just use the words from the question. Got it? All right. Okay, next. How about content number 2? Okay, remember the first sentence would be the statement. Okay, my second trait is brave. So I just write, Newt is a role model because he is brave. Next, the event. Yes. What event is that? Remember? Yes, saving the parrot, right? So you have to memorize this. So I put it here. And of course, When I want to present my event, I will start with the phrase, this is shown when. So from the word mute was chosen until the word airplane, that one is memorized. Right? Okay, next. What's next? Okay, don't forget your opinion. Okay, so just now I used the word in my opinion. So maybe, perhaps you can change I think. Okay, now relate the trait brave. Okay, so we can say, I think you should be brave to solve a problem like me. Closing, remember to have a link, connect. Okay, so always refer to the question. So we use the words from the question. And you notice that I have used the same sentence. Don't worry. This is the closing sentence. Okay, you can do that. All right. Okay, next. Content number 3. Okay, this is paragraph 4. Okay, sentence statement. Remember, the last trait is determined. Okay, so I use the same pattern structure. Newt is a role model because he is determined. So I just change the trait. Okay, remember the event? Yes, we have chosen the water tower event, right? Okay, memorize that and put it here. Remember the phrase? This is shown when. So from the word mute heard until the word climb down the ladder, everything is memorized. Okay, it's not that hard. Okay, it's not that difficult. Okay, don't forget about the yes, good opinion. So I don't want to use the word I think. I don't want to use in my opinion. Perhaps you can change into in my view. We should be. Yes, we use the word determined again. So we should be determined to do the right thing, just like you. Remember, you just really wanted to climb up just to tell the truth that Reggie Ratner was not the person who put Chris into coma. All right. And don't forget to close the sentence. Okay, so close the paragraph with the same sentence. This shows that New is a good role model for teenagers. So you see the pattern, right? So we are done with content. How about conclusion? So how to write conclusion? Okay, so in conclusion, remember, we only have 2 parts. First, we need to have a summary. Okay, rumusan, summarize. And opinion. Again, we have opinion. So it could be opinion or it could be reason. So this is your opinion, right? Okay. So remember, this is paragraph 5. Okay. So sentence for the summary. Okay. Don't forget to use the phrase in conclusion to show that this is the one. This is the conclude part. Okay, the concluding part. Okay. So in conclusion, Nian is a good role model because he is helpful, brave, and determined. Okay, remember this one sounds familiar, right? Because I have taken this from the introduction. So I just restructure the sentence. Right? Okay, next one. Okay, so where do I get this? Remember, good role model? Yes, in the question, good role model. And then we have helpful, brave, and determined. We have chosen these 3 traits. Okay, last part is the opinion. So I choose the word I think. So I think, okay, can be general. Okay, we should learn from you because he has good values, right? So if you have good values, that means you can be a good role model. Okay, so you see how easy it is. All right, so this is the final answer. Okay, you may screenshot if you want to. Right. Notice that we have how many paragraphs? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yes, we have 5 paragraphs. So 1 paragraph is for the introduction, 3 paragraphs for the content, and 1 paragraph for the conclusion. And can you see the words in red? Yes. What do you call this? These are called connectors. All right. So I use first, besides, moreover. You can use other connectors. All right. Okay. So good. Do you have any question? Yes. Yes. Hello, Tarani. Okay. What can I do for you? Any question? Or you want to wait until the end? Okay. So if we are still thinking about the question, okay, just write down the question in the comment. Okay. Shall we try another question? All right. Okay. Let's try another one. Are you ready? Okay. Now, this is another question. Okay. Based on the novel we have studied, write about an event that has taught you something important about life. Give reason why it is so with close reference to the text. Right? Okay. Now, what is our step? We need to identify, after we finish reading the question, we need to identify what kind of question. Is it specific or is it general? Okay, so we have to dissect here. So they are asking for how many events? One event. So you should know what type of question is this. Okay, and then they are asking about an event that has taught you something important. That means we are looking for one important lesson. Okay, and then don't forget they have stated the word reason. So don't forget to provide at least two reasons. Or I love number three, so I give three reasons. Okay, so of course, yes, it is a specific type of question. Because this is specific, we need to have especially out here, right? Okay, remember the first paragraph will be introduction. After that, we need to produce the event. How many events? One event only. All right. Okay. So this is the next paragraph. Reason. They are asking reason, right? So kumpulkan dalam satu perenggan. Perenggan yang satu perenggan khas untuk lesson dan event, satu perenggan lagi untuk reason, sebab-sebab. Alright, got it? Okay. So this is the outline. Remember you have screenshot just now? Okay, so this is the outline. Okay, so can we start with our introduction? Okay, good. So how to write the introduction? Remember, novel, answer, okay, points, content points. Yes, you are right. Okay, so we go back to the question. Alright, so remember we have to, this is paragraph 1. Alright, so I have given you the introduction part. Okay, I use the same technique. I memorize the first sentence. Okay, the novel I have studied is Captain Nobody by Dean Fishburne. Okay, next, what comes next? Answer, right? Okay, for the answer, okay, remember, event. Why? That has taught you something important about life. Okay, so you use that phrase, and you can use the word and, which change into the, because we want to make more specific. So we put the event that has taught you, change into me. Something important about life is okay. So which event that I want to choose? Okay, I would like to choose water tower event. So I would say is when Newton human safely jeratnya from the Appleton water tower. Okay, remember the last sentence? Memorize. Alright? Okay. With close reference to the text, I will discuss the topic and give reason why it is so. Okay. I will discuss the topic, memorize, and okay. And what? We want to link. So you see, we use the words there. Give reasons why it is so. So you see how easy it is. All right. Now we move on to the, okay, I've seen one question here from Fuad. Hi Fuad. So Fuad says, if only I have two reasons, will it be enough? Yes, Fuad, don't worry. Okay, remember at least two reasons. Okay, but I like three. Okay, but if you like two, it doesn't matter. So two is good enough. All right. Okay. Now let's talk about the content. Okay, remember statement, event, opinion, closing. Alright. Okay, this is the general one. But because we want to talk about the event and we want to separate the opinion into another paragraph, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, look at the question again. An event. Okay, one event. Reasons. Okay, so I separate event, one paragraph. I separate reasons, one paragraph. Okay, so you can see the layout here. Okay, so we have content number 1. Okay, statement, event number 1, and then content number 2, statement, opinion, 1, 2, 3. So if Fuad wants to give only 2, it doesn't matter. As long as you have more than 1. Alright? Okay. So this is paragraph 2 and paragraph 3. Got it? Okay. Next, let's take a look at how we are going to write for content number 1. Okay, remember we want to focus on the event only. Okay, so I take out the opinion part. So I will start with statement. Okay, remember statement is the main idea. So I will say this event has taught me to be brave. Alright? Okay, so brave is the important lesson. Okay, remember something important about life? Okay, so it's very important to be brave. So this is the lesson. Okay, what's next? Good, the event. Okay, since we have chosen the Appleton Water Tower, memorize and put it there. And don't forget to start with the phrase, this is shown when. Alright? Okay, next. What's next? Okay, because we want to separate the opinion, we don't have to write opinion here. Okay, straight away with our closing. You see? So the closing part is for us to link with the question. So this shows that, remember, memorize, this event has taught me something important about life. Okay, this one sounds familiar, right? Because I have taken from the question. So I don't have to crack my head. Okay, so it's easy, right? Okay. Next, content number 2. This is the time I want to focus on the reason or opinion. Okay, so I have followed. Okay, I followed Fuad. So this time I will only have 2 opinion or 2 reasons. Alright? Okay, so this would be paragraph 3. So start with statement. So my statement, because I'm going to give more than 1 reason, so I will say there are many reasons why it is so. Okay, then, okay, remember opinion or reason. What is my first reason? The first reason is, remember about brave? If Newton is not brave, Reggie Ratner will not know the truth. So, it is important to tell the truth. So, this is your opinion. So, you have to think what happened if Newton is not brave. Alright? So, you know, Reggie Ratner will always think that he is the one who put Chris into coma, right? Okay. What is another reason or opinion? Okay, I see. The second reason is, if Newton is not brave, Richie Ratner will be stuck at the water tower. So it is important to be brave. Remember, okay, that his left foot got stuck at the water tower, at the top of the water tower. So it's important to be brave. Otherwise, he will be stuck until midnight, or perhaps until someone has to rescue him. All right. Okay, this is my personal opinion. You can have your own opinion as long as you have the word brave. Relate the word brave. Alright? Okay. And to close it, always use the words from the question. So I choose. This shows that this event has taught me something important about life. Remember, it's the same thing. Okay? So you don't have to think so hard because the words are taken from the question. Okay, so how to write the conclusion? Remember we have summary and opinion? Okay, for the summary part. Okay, remember this is paragraph 4. Okay, for the summary part. Okay, remember to use the word in conclusion. Okay, tadi ada pelajar tanya apa tu in conclusion? Secara sebagai rumusannya. Okay, to conclude. Okay, to conclude. Alright, so I want to show that I want to use few words from the question. I want to use the word brave. So I say, this event has taught me to be brave. Sounds familiar, right? Yes, it sounds like the first statement, right? The first sentence in the context. But never mind, I can use that. Okay, next. Okay, so where do I get this one? This event has taught me. Obviously, from the question. Can you see the word event? An event that has taught you. Okay, instead of you, we have to change into me. Don't forget about it, right? Okay, pronoun, we have to change to pronoun. Okay, next. So what do we have for your opinion? Okay, I think we can succeed in life if we are brave. Remember, we want to link with the word brave, right? So it's a general statement. Can you or you can use other opinion or other reason. All right. Okay. So I have come to the conclusion part, and yes, this is the final product. So please screenshot, right? Okay, remember how many paragraphs here? You can see 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so we have 4 paragraphs. So 4 paragraph. Paragraph 1 for introduction, paragraph 2 focus only for the event and lesson. Okay, paragraph 3, reason number 1 or 2, and paragraph 4 conclusion. I need to highlight it because some students tend to make mistake in SPM. When the question asks you to write one event, do not write more than one event because you are wasting your time. Okay, you want to focus to give a good answer. So focus on the question, read the question carefully. Okay, because if you give more than one event, the marks, okay, it doesn't add any marks. You are wasting your time and energy. Okay, so remember there are two types of event here. Okay, notice that I have used connectors too in the sentence. I have used the word first and second. All right. Okay, so I am done with my slides. So if you have any question, please do so. Write in your comment section. Okay. So of course, teacher, Mr. Chu will help me. Okay, answering the question. Right, Mr. Chu. Welcome back.
Yes, thank
All
you,
right.
Cikgu Haslina. Yeah.
Okay, Kisantini is asking just now, teacher, how about the team or family for Captain Nobody? Yes, okay. We have a few events talking about to show that the family team. Okay, we want to show perhaps the event is preparing breakfast. Okay, to show that there's a family bonding there and to show that how responsible Newt is, right? Okay, do you want to add anything, Mr. Chu? Perhaps you like to say something?
Yeah, so when it comes to talking about family, usually it will involve Mr. Newman, the dad, Mrs. Newman, the mom, and also Chris Newman, the brother. So events that are related to all these individuals are considered under the theme of family. Okay, so students, you have to take note about that too.
Okay, Rashid Rizal, ulang balik ayat penutup. The closing sentence. Nak tulis penutup perlu ayat apa? Remember I told you just now, this shows that. This shows that, okay, dan guna balik perkataan dalam soalan itu. Contohnya, this shows that Newton Newman is a good role model for teenagers. Guna balik ayat itu. Okay, you know, right? Because you don't have to be so concerned about the closing, okay? Because the important thing is whether you are able to produce event, related event, okay? Event yang tepat, yang tu yang kita cari, okay? Right. Any question? Alright.
Okay, if there are no more questions from the students, thank you very much, Cikgu Haslina, for sharing with us very useful tips. So I hope students, all of you, you have gained enough today, okay, from Cikgu Haslina. And okay, if you have missed our previous webinars, okay, don't forget, you can always rewatch them on our YouTube channel, okay? Don't forget to like and subscribe also our JEDLR YouTube channel. And don't forget, we also have a JEDLR website where students, you can actually download a lot of useful information about SPM, paper 1 and also paper 2. Okay, with this, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Pengarah Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Johor and also Sektor Pembelajaran Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Johor for giving us this wonderful opportunity to share all this knowledge with all our beloved students. And we would also like to take this opportunity to thank all the teachers that have contributed in the previous series for SPM, including Cikgu Muhammad Fuad, Cikgu Pushpa, Cikgu Shakira, Cikgu Nur Atika, Cikgu Haslina, and also myself. Okay, so with that, over to you, Cikgu Haslina.
Okay, and of course we have to thank all of the audience here. Okay, because you stay loyal to us, to watch us from the beginning until the end. Okay, especially Sekolah Menengah SMK Tun Fatimah Hashimai. Alright. Okay. So don't worry if you miss any episode of our webinars. You can always go to our YouTube channel, right? So we really hope that you have learned a lot from this series of webinars, and do please apply. Okay, please do apply our tips that we have shared in answering your paper 1 and paper 2. Okay, and don't forget to the teachers as well. Okay, feel free to use our webinars. Okay, you can always download the videos as part of your Bengkel Teknik Menjawab kertas 1 and kertas 2, since we are unable to have this workshop right during this MCO. Okay, so I guess that's all. All right.
Take care,
Thank you.
everyone. Stay safe.
Uh,
Bye.
bye. Bye bye, everyone.